All right. A very, 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 very good morning to all you people out there in La La Land, wherever the fuck you are. That's why I always put this is not for kids because that way, you can say what you feel and feel what you say. But does it make any sense? Feel what you say. But I don't know where I was trying to go with this, but our title of this. Oh wait, before we start, we're gonna give a shout out to our sponsor, and our sponsor is you know it. You know it, right? It's the Organics tea. But I have a surprise for you people. So you think it's the chai spice, right? No, no, no. This is different. This is the Organics lemon ginger flavor tea, right? I forget what it says. Oh yeah, it says naturally flavored, kind of like me, naturally flavored. Hope you like that one. Um, anyway, but this one I do like with cinnamon graham crackers that you can get at Trader Joe's. It's really good. You dip in. I try to limit my sugars as I've gotten older. Um, just for my own benefit. As we know, sugar is an inflammatory, and as you get older, you want your blood flow circulating. You want everything functioning properly. I know this shit tastes good. I know the sweets taste good. Listen, man, I know. I got a thing for like vanilla ice cream and everything. I used to like Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream, but I started to have like a problem. That's weird. I was feeling something. I don't know, my side or my back or something. Like I'm very prone to kidney stones or caffeine, maybe in that coffee ice cream. I just first I thought it was from eating raspberries or something, but no, it was from that ice cream. So I eliminated it. You gotta eliminate. See, even if you work out and take care of yourself and walk and everything, it doesn't matter. Still, the you can't. The stuff on the inside is still old. It's still old, right? So you gotta try your best to keep it functioning properly. Um, you know what though? I still treat myself. Well, what's the point of being around? I think I heard it was it Dr. Franco Columbu, God rest his soul. He wrote this book. I have it. He signed it for me. He even said even eating ice cream, everyone is going to take years, couple of years off your life. So I mean, look, you only get so much time no matter what. But my friend that smokes and drinks all day, he's got the real depression type attitude where it's like, who cares, work out, don't drink, don't smoke, die anyway, kind of thing. And nah, brother, you don't. That's not. No, 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 man. There's a big difference. That my friend that didn't make it to 50, you know, it's that's not living like a lion, man. It's living like an idiot. You want to be around, and you want to keep yourself in good condition and be around. Period. And I take shit seriously. Look, I used to like going to bars. I used to like doing this shit. Yeah, but you know what though? I used to get kind of depressed because I'd go to these bars and never meet any women. I told you a lot of these places are cliquish. Everybody knows each other, and I was still kind of brazen. Like even years ago. Um, you combine that with alcohol, and even just beer. Like man, you're looking at in trouble. It's just you know I hate that when you go to a bar by yourself and this guy brings this hot chick with him and is with her. Why are you there? It's like you're just teasing. It's like you're teasing me, kind of. I hate that. So maybe and it's the best thing not that ever happened to me is to stop drinking. Stop going that shit. It's I know you think that it's the only place. Some people they hang out at Starbucks for a long time. I don't like coffee. So, well, they have tea there. But it doesn't matter. I just don't like going to someplace without a purpose. I don't like that. I don't like just sitting around and people watching. To me, people watching is like one step above bum, in my opinion. You know, it's like bum plus. You're people watching. What does that do? I told you this already. If you're watching, you're not doing. And I just got my own views on that. It's like you should always be thinking. You should always be. Look, even when I go to bed, at night. I go to sleep during the day too. Whenever I one thing I'm just kind of fortunate. I can go to bed whenever I want and get up whenever I want. But what really pissed me off, like when you live in low cost housing, government housing or whatever. Told you somebody knocked on my door at 8:30 in the morning. I was looking for the manager, and the manager, I don't know if she's on vacation or had a baby. I don't know what her fucking deal is, but she's just not ideal for the position. But anyway, you know, you're knocking on my fucking door asking where the manager is. The person doesn't even live here. Where's the man? Hey, I'm not a public servant here. You waking me up at I went to bed at like 5 in the morning. And it's a rude awakening. And I got fucking really mad. So I opened the door just enough, and I said to this older, I don't know how old she was. She wasn't that old. I said, "Get the fuck away from my door." That's what I said. Get the fuck away from my door. And I'm sorry, it's not my job to help you. I'm sorry. Knocking on some people's door 8:30 in the morning, unless it's an extreme emergency, asking you don't even know what. Who the fuck are you anyway? Who are you? You don't know which apartment the manager is in. You're knocking on my door. There's an office. There's a phone number to call for the management and stuff. Don't fucking bother me. I don't bother people. I don't do shit like that. But that's what pisses me off. It reminds me, like, I have friends that always they tell me, they go, "Oh, Warrior Junior, you got it made. Your rent's not much." Man, you don't understand. There's a price to pay for living in a welfare building or in a poorhouse, man. There's a price to pay for it. All right. Let me tell you something. You're looking at things like, if you're from your perspective, there's a huge difference between somebody that owns their own house and lives in a nice condo complex or something, and then somebody on Section 8 or conventional housing or whatever, project-based housing or something like that. You don't understand. And a lot of those people, unfortunately, the people in my building and around, they don't care less. They can handle the alarm going off every day or two, the broken things that the county puts in just so it lasts for about a year, so they can get more money, and putting garbage. They do these projects that man, you're smelling paints and proxies and stuff. Always doing fixing and putting in garbage quality stuff so it breaks down, man. You're not fooling me, man. You're not fooling me. Fooling everybody else here, because those people are fools. Okay, I know. It's like, it's said in the context that I'm not trying to belittle them, but they're just not trying to do anything to get out of the situation they're in, because at their age it's too late. And that's what I fear becoming that. I fear that. That's why I work relentlessly on trying to improve all those things I told you about. To repeat the same things over and over again. But kind of sucks when, like 7, 8 years ago, I was looking at these condos in Vegas. I saw the MGM Signature Tower. There's like 3 towers, like $100,000 for a unit, small condo in there. Now they're over 200,000. So it's fuck. I didn't have the money even back then anyway. I didn't have it, but I was just curious how much stuff goes for, and it's just you know yeah, what agitates me too is like, you think, okay, well, 30-year mortgage, $100,000 is nothing, right? Like, because it's over 30 years. Let me tell you something. Without like documented income and stuff like that, you'd be surprised how hard it is even to get a loan, a mortgage loan for just $100,000, a 30-year. It's not that easy. 30 years. That's what, 360 months? Okay, well, forget just interest. Let's just figure 360 months. That's 3,000 a month. It's well, wait a second. No, I'm sorry. It's 360 months, 100,000. It's what, 3,000? I'm tired. Yeah, 300. It's 300 a month. Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm just my mind, and I've been up all night and stuff like that. But that's how I usually am. I'm up during the day. I'm up at nights. I'm up whenever I feel like it. Uh, what's it called? The sleep rhythm, Arcadia sleep rhythm or something. I don't know what it is, but you know, it's like I talk about. Everything's a sacrifice. What you want, what you. I just don't. Sometimes I sit there and I say I think people put too much on their plate. When I see people with their dogs, all the time in my area, this is a dog infested area. Again, I love animals, but kind of ridiculous in a way. I mean, it's like, why do people have to have a pet? Like, why do they have to? I mean, think about this. It's like, the dog is a lot to maintain. It needs exercise. It's not like a cat. Even a cat, it needs to eat. Yeah, you have to clean the box. You have to do all this stuff. You get sick. Everything. It's like, I think people put so much on their plates that it really keeps you just being a single guy without a dog. It makes it that much harder for you to connect. You know, that's just what I think. I got my own thing on it. Like my mom, like she never raised me. She was never there for me my whole life. She's got a dog she takes care of, and she's got like health problems trying to find. She's with this guy. She bounces around. And she's got this dog that I said, why do you need all this responsibility? What? And they can't give you a definitive answer. They just, and it's not even worth asking. Just people like to have like all these responsibilities, and then they complain that life is hard. Well, if you didn't have all these responsibilities, maybe it wouldn't be so hard. I'm sorry. That's how I think. I like to go where I want. I like to do what I want. I want my own freedom, and you're not going to have that if you've got a dog or a cat to have to worry about. I had a cat. It was like my buddy. I know, but he had a stroke and he died. And that's it. And I never got another one. I just didn't want to have it. I didn't want to have the responsibility. You know, and it's hard too. Yeah, I know. You become attached. I know. But I got to be honest with you. I think it's a cop out. I think it's a cop out. You should people should be meeting people, not going out there adopting animals. That should be. I mean, that's what I think. I'm sorry. I got my own views on things. My own opinion. My own opinionated. I'm an opinionated person. You got all these responsibilities and animals, and then what the hell you need to meet a person for? Ah, I just don't get it. My ex girlfriend or whatever, same fucking way. She had one of those dogs. I don't know, those stupid Boston Terrier dogs, and she'd take it on the plane with her and everything. You would sit and everything. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Dog has to go to the bathroom. Dog has to, and then it died, and then now she's saying she want to get another one. You know, I mean, I know when I talk about these things that you hear the negative and stuff. Yeah, it's a companion, it's love, this and that. But it's like unnecessary. In my opinion, it's just unnecessary. They show you these commercials where it shows you the dogs in ASPC. I've seen. I know it's very depressing commercials. Make you feel sorry for and everything. They show the abused animals. Of course, I feel bad for that shit too. But it's not my. It's like these breeders. I mean, that's how they make money. They go and don't you understand, what's behind everything? Everything is out there for somebody's benefit, and they use manipulative tactics to get you to join something. I'm telling you, like I know I've seen these commercials. The ASPCA is it? Yeah, for your $29 a month, you're helping this and that. That might be true, but you know what? It's like you're also part of that money is going for their profit. Like that they're in business to make money. I watched this other thing. I'm Jewish, right? I watched this one. Let's get off the animals thing. There was one. There was one that I saw. It was like it was like for older like I don't know what I think it might have been in like Siberia or something. It says Siberia. Siberia, like they showed like this old Russian lady, like, and it says, "Oh, look, it's so bad. She lives like in a shack, and everything. I forget which what is a commercial for it. And she's like, there's no man there, there's nothing. It's like really dirty, whatever, and there's no food. And she's like, help me, kind of thing. And this young Jewish woman goes, we cannot let this booby, we can't let her, we have to send your 1995 a month and help her, like, and then they bring all this food there, then she's happy, and the whole thing like this. And, it would just be funny, like, if it was a set, like at the end of the commercial or whatever, it's like, all right. And then they take down, it's like, it's not it's not even in Siberia. It's on a sound stage, the guys like making it look like it's snowing out there in the shack. They move it. And then the old Russian lady, she's an actress. She goes, how did I do? How was that? Oh, you did great, Grandma. You did great. Yeah. We're gonna really sucker all these people are gonna send their 1995 a month to this, to help people. Yeah, right, just making money. I think that would be like a spoof, like a Saturday Night Live. They should do something like that. I don't know. I think sometimes I think things are funny. I think of things that are funny, but I do have. Look, don't make it sound. I know what you think. Well, you were heartless. No. Wait a second. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by what you see on television, my friends. Don't be fooled. They show you stuff and they try to get into your emotions and feel bad for something. They do that to try to make money. Okay, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, they use these people can be, really, they can fuck with your mental trickery, show you shit to fuck with your emotions. Believe me. Don't be so gullible. Don't be a fool out there. It's hard to get people to dedicate themselves to spending the money every month on for a cause. They have to show shit like that. Believe me. Wouldn't be surprised. The problem never is solved anyway. You ever notice that? The problem is never solved anyway. All that money is being spent on it. It just keeps it going. That's all it does. It just fuels it in another way. What was that? The USA for Africa, whatever. That was in the 80s, but I'm talking about like or whatever. Send food. There's people. So these people like in these impoverished whatever places doesn't have to be in Somalia or Ethiopia, wherever they're having 8, 10 kids or whatever like that. Don't send money. Send condoms. I'm sorry, you shouldn't be having kids if it's so bad over, to me, having kids, it should be like it's for the wealthy. It's for people that can afford it. It's not for poor. But meanwhile, the poor have the most kids. So where's the logic? Stupid, you know. Again, so how I see the world. The world according to Warrior Junior. You know, like it just it befuddles my imagination and then the people say, oh, it's so bad for these people, so bad at pumping out all these kids and they have no money and of course it's bad. And then it's the job of you to send the money, the Christian Science Fund or whatever. I seen that guy. He goes to like Guatemala or someplace like that. He goes, look at this poor girl, and they show you like a cute, of course. She's trying to learn English. She's just trying to go to school. She's in preschool. Send your 29.95 to help little Rosarita. Like she needs, and it of course doesn't show the parents, of course not. It shows the kids, they're little cute and everything. I show the parents. If it's all fucking parents, I would fucking, you should be arrested, for doing and not, having kids and not being able to support them. Shame on you. Shame on you. Not you, not that person, but you know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, you shouldn't even be, in my mind, you shouldn't even be allowed to watch this. Okay, if you're not, if you're not trying to better your, like trying to work your way up from, if you're a homo inferior, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. If you're a sheep, I feel bad for you. If you're in that gray area, I commend you. And if you're at a homo superior, I admire you. Okay? There's a big difference. So there's a big difference. Big difference. We're all equal, but we're not equal. We're not equal, my friends. They gotta stop. They gotta stop pushing the narrative of this nonsense. This equality kind of thing. Everybody's equal. Everybody's the same. Everybody's the same. Not everybody's the same, my friend. And it's usually a lot of stuff is determined by your status in society, which is generally defined by your wealth, or but your status. Like that's how the kind of society judges you. That's how it works. They don't tell you this when you're a kid. They don't tell you this when you're growing up. You gotta I wish I had somebody teach me. The only thing anybody ever told me as I was growing up, boy, wait till you get older. Life is hard. Life is hard. Yeah, that's real. Thanks. That's real vague. That's not helping. That's not teaching. That's not teaching. What is that teaching you? What's coming? That's like saying like what you're in. You're in like you're treading the water or you're by the beach, and they go, boy, just wait. The tidal wave is coming. And they're like, well, what do you mean? And then all of a sudden a tidal wave just comes and wipes you out. I mean, that's not how you prepare somebody. You got to tell them, hey, at this time, there's going to be a tidal wave that's coming through. Get the fuck out of here. Like don't be standing in there or, throw your life preserver. I don't even think it would help. I don't think if you have a life preserver and you're in the way of a tidal wave, you are going to be fucked. It's like those people on the Titanic. They throw a life preserver. Yeah, well, the problem herein lies that the Titanic sank in the middle of the North Atlantic. Generally, the water is above freezing. You're fucked. You're going to die if you're in that water for any amount of time. I heard one time though, like during the summer, one time they said it was abnormally warm in there for the time of the year. It was very interesting, but no, for the most part, you're in the ocean and without not on a raft or anything. You're with a life preserver. You're gonna die. You're fish food. Or you just can't. It's not designed. The ocean is not designed for you to hang around to sit in for very long. It's big. There's a lot of water in there. There's a lot of life in there too that you don't see. It's all underwater. Hmm. Idiots anyway. Went on the Titanic, the maiden voyage. What a we call it in Yiddish. We call it a kanina hora is what it is. A kanina hora is like a hex. So, somebody says something, oh, you got it, man, you're gonna get, and you don't got it yet, or whatever it is, that's a canina hora. So it's like saying that people that went on the Titanic, oh, it's a Titanic. It's unsinkable. There's no way it could sink. That's a canina hora. And that look at what happened, right? So be it. Um, I mean, it was awful, but it's a maiden voyage. I mean, it kind of like what I always believe something should be tested first before you can do it. But no, the maiden voyage. Oh yeah, just jump right on. Would you go on the first space flight to Mars without it being tested with people? Like, hey, it's a maiden voyage. Just go. Yeah. Okay. Well, I got news for you. Don't be surprised if the first, like, well, of course they wouldn't do that. They're gonna test the distances and everything, maybe without people or something, but with astronauts and stuff. But can you imagine if they didn't test it with that, and you're gonna get on that, you're gonna die. You ain't gonna make it. It's ridiculous. Yeah, fucking Hindenburg. I watched that one too. I don't really wish anything bad on anybody, but I have news for you. And anytime I see something with a Nazi insignia on it, they can all go to hell. So, rightfully so. I believe that was God's intervention to blow up that fucking uh, German Nazi dirigible over Lakehurst, New Jersey. She never even been allowed here anyway, in my opinion. But it's just some things just befuddle my imagination. I don't get it. I don't. Now I mean, it's like, huh? What? I thought like we're against that. We were against the Third Reich. And we allowed Hindenburg to land, dock in the United States. If you look at the airship, it had on the toward the back, the not the wings or whatever, the Nazi insignia flag on it. You can see it clearly. The fuck is that doing here? Well, back then it wasn't. Well, the 19th is still. I just don't get it. I don't. Some things don't. I don't know. I don't know. Actually, I do know, but you know what? We'll save that tomorrow. You know, there's a lot of. I told you about what happened after the war. The U.S. brought over all these German scientists that were all part of that. The Werner von Braun or whatever helped design. If you look at the design of the stealth bomber, very similar to the German flying wing. Yeah, amazing. And then you see these guys walking. With our Air Force. I saw them walking with like whatever. I didn't see them. I saw it on TV, and they have like these long black trench coats. It was like almost exactly like with the cap. It looked like SS officers or something. And I said, wait, that's the United States. What the fuck? Yeah. So let me tell you, my friends, everything changes. I'm not saying the U.S. is becoming like Nazi Germany, but I mean, when I'm seeing things that like resemble, I mean, didn't Hitler create the Volkswagen? That was the people's car. This is his idea. I mean, it's like you got to know your history, my friends. If you notice Mercedes-Benz commercials, they always skip the 40s. They'd never show Hitler on the fucking, driving around in the Mercedes Benz commercials or whatever like that in the U.S. Recent they show the gold wing, and then they skip. They go to, like, whatever they show, that when they show the history of Mercedes Benz, they never show Hitler on the fucking saluting on the Mercedes Benz car. It wouldn't be good for business. You know? And also, many people don't know that, I forget who it was. When they designed the tanks or whatever, Hitler wanted to design, I don't know, engines for his planes or tanks or something, and the two best scientists or engineers were Jewish. He had them killed. Number three was Porsche. So there's a little bit of a history lesson for you. It's amazing. Here's another one for you. Adidas actually was Adolf Adidas, whatever, created Adidas, was also, a Nazi you know, supporter or whatever. But he didn't know that either. So think about that, when you go out and you buy Adidas stuff. I know it's like quality clothes and stuff, but okay, this is like the history. This is, look, history is not always, what you think it is sometimes. Um, but what makes history so great is that you can learn and you can make decisions for yourself. I guess the most important thing I can say out of all of this is my people have a saying, and they say never again. And that's the most important thing. Um, and I think that, in order for something like that never to happen again, we cannot allow little things like our freedoms to be taken away from us. This can be done manipulative. I know. Sometimes I manipulatively, you know, taking away people's rights using manipulation tactics. Events like 9/11, which caused the creation of the Homeland Security, where you know made it more difficult. People have to go through the TSA and this and that, and now I'm hearing kids are gonna have to wear masks in class now, because the it's just I just look at things subjectively. I call it the eagle's eye view, and I just believe there's like a grand plan here. Now, I heard of this thing called Agenda 21, and this was talked about. I think there's a document. The document, it was a U.S. thing, and it was called for the century of the 20. I'm trying to recollect all this stuff, but the key is there's a plan that was outlined. Progress for the New American Century. It's called Agenda 21. It's like, outlining what they want to happen in the 21st century. And this was already talked, the Space Force was already discussed long ago. U.S. Space Force. When Trump goes, we're going to have a creation of a Space Force. That's not his idea. That was already documented in that Agenda 21 outline. I saw it. I saw that agenda. It's a book or something. It's got all these things that they wrote in there. I don't know who publishes it. I don't know if nations get together and they discussed it. But I heard about all this stuff. And they talked about the potential of something like COVID years ago. See, I'm telling you, you think things happen by accident. You're a fool. You are being fooled. Your head is in the sand. You're down there. You're below ground. And your head is in the sand, like an ostrich. I don't know if ostriches put their head in the sand. I don't know. But, I think people are very gullible. They're very gullible. And then, and then when I start giving my views and my theories, my opinions, and my research, people just what they do is they just clump you into that the conspiracy theorist narrative. And I have news for you. It's not so. It is not so. I know there's people out there like Alex Jones, and I know, like, Jesse Ventura, incredibly brazen, and I commend him greatly. Um, but you know, I think it's important to listen to everybody and then formulate your own opinion based on your research, not just what somebody tells you. You gotta, you want to know about something, you gotta like take a consensus, dig deep. Um, was it a Freedom of Information Act? Like, oh, we have rights. While we still do. And I say that because remember what I said, everything changes. I believe, like, laws should be rewritten in a way to adapt to the 21st century. They should be modified in a way um, so that they're not infringed upon. I'm sorry, going to get too deep into 9/11, but you know, if you don't entertain the possibility that there were forces that allowed that event to happen. I'm not talking about 18 or 19 Saudi Arabian hijackers. I'm talking about you know powerful people on the planet. That decided that, hey, look, this has got to happen for this reason. I mean, you're you're just not understanding. It's like what you're seeing, but you're not really understanding. There's people out there that kind of have their agenda, and it doesn't matter what happens. Just matters that it does happen. And you're most people just wouldn't even believe, they couldn't entertain this possibility. But remember, if you like, I equate it to Star Trek 6. What, Federation top Federation members and Klingon conspiring together, their own people killed Chancellor Gorkin. Remember? Watch Star Trek 6: The Undiscovered Country. You know, I know it's a movie, but again, I told you there's writers that write this stuff and they base things on reality. I know, I know, I know it's an awful thing. And that's one of the problems with 9/11. If you're proud to be an American, like I am, you're just supposed to go along with the narrative. You're not supposed to question anything. You're not supposed to think that is it possible, that but you are supposed to question. Don't be a sheep. Don't be a sheep. The sheep don't question. The sheep don't research. The sheep just go along. Okay? And the homo inferior are too scared to question. They're too scared to learn, or they're too dumb to learn. Sorry. It's a very difficult subject, and I will do my best to address it in its entirety in a couple months. I have a lot to say about it. because I attack it from all angles. It's not that simple. You can't just point the finger, at some administration and that's it. Okay, story over. All right, yeah, they caused it and that's it. Not that simple. Okay, the title of the subject of this episode, was "Sue Me for Gawking." And I was thinking about that. I didn't go out or anything last night. I didn't do anything, but I was thinking about this. I was saying, you know, can somebody like really get in your face and get really over defensive just by you looking? You're invading their privacy. You're gawking. Why are you staring at me? I will make my point, which I always like to try to do. In the normal world, right? Okay. And what I mean by normal, I'm implying heterosexual people. If you look at somebody, another guy, if you're a straight guy, and you look at a guy for a second, it's not a big deal generally. You look at him for up to about 5 seconds, I would say. When you get close to that 5 second mark, the guy is going to more than likely begin to wonder why you are staring at him. As the time starts to go past 5 seconds, he may become agitated. So, okay, so after a couple seconds, he's probably wondering, what are you looking at? Now, after 6, 7 seconds, why are you looking at me? Now, after 10 seconds, what the fuck are you looking at me? Okay? You see? Now, let's flip this. Let's say now, if it's a homosexual looking at another homosexual, that doesn't happen because that is a term of like endearment, a term of affection, apparently. Oh, he's looking at me. He's interested. Now, let's turn this inside out. Let's take it where a gay guy is looking at a straight person. The same thing, same dynamic occurs where after a prolonged period of time, the straight guy is going to say, what the fuck are you staring at me for? So there's a problem herein lies. I think this is very interesting that, see, it's a weird thing. Depending, like if you live in an area like I do, there's a lot of homosexuals here. And they looking at you for a prolonged period of time, and if you're straight, you may feel very uncomfortable after a while, which I do, but I don't respond in that way because I'm aware of that. That happens. So, and I didn't even address when it comes to women. I was just talking about for guys. Now, but again, there's a big difference between a straight and gay. There's a big difference. Even though we're all equal, not the same. This is where the problem herein lies. And just like I told you that example of people looking at you for a prolonged period of time, It's very easy to become agitated for something that doesn't make any sense if you don't know. I told you, in the gay person's mind, if they're looking for a prolonged period of time, they're interested. It's a term of affection, a term of interest, whatever. But the straight person's offended. I mean, more than likely, might become hostile if it's for a prolonged period of time. That's the key. A couple seconds don't mean nothing. It's the time that builds the uncomfortableness. The gawking. Well, how do women feel? I'll be honest with you. I don't care, okay? I don't care. Because you know what? When they're in their prime and they're ripe, they're going to get all that attention, all right? That's how it works. It's just the way it is. And when they get old, they don't get any, all right? I didn't create this. It's not my design. It's just the way it is. And in my mind, I have just as much right to look at the women, and the gays have just as much right to look at me. Okay? So it works both ways. It works both ways. You got to be able to take it to give it. If that makes sense. Not exactly, if you know what. Hey, look, man, I joke around. I try to be funny, but my point is that I should be able to look, and it shouldn't be a problem, just like they can look, and there's no problem. If you're comfortable and confident with yourself, you're in public, people can look, just like bums can come up to you and ask for money. There actually is a law, no panhandling or something like that. I know there's a law, but it's unenforced, Don't be a panhandler when it comes to meeting women. I told you this. Never say, excuse me, sorry. Never apologize. Don't never convey your lower social status. Never, never, never. Even if you are, I'm very hard on myself. I don't know what I mean, the bar is very high here. Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, West LA, Santa Monica, the bar is quite high. There's a lot of successful people that live in Pacific Palisades, in the hills. It's like kind of like saying, dude, if you're not upper, you're lower social status. I mean, it's this is Hollywood, man. It's tough. It's tough. Yep. It's one of the reasons that my goal is to get out of here. Some things are just not practical. And it might sound like, well, you're giving up. There's a big difference between giving up and not practical. The median price for a home, a good area here, is a lot. Okay, there's people that work that I don't even work. There's people that work like they make 70, 80,000 a year. They can't afford their own home. Okay, what does that tell you? That tells you there's a problem. It got out of hand. It got out of hand. There should be caps on real estate. The government should step in and say, no, the value of it has to be in proportion to how much the income is. You can't, the values of these homes is not fair. You're giving all this power to control of relatively few people. And then there's everybody else. There was a time, like, look, my grandparents, they owned a snack bar, whatever, like that. They could have bought a house in Mount Olympus for whatever, and I know why they didn't, but the point is they could have, they should have, but they could have. Okay. My dad too, he had plans to buy a house in the 80s. Now it's like, jeez, a lot of these people, they made their money a long time ago, and I don't know how. There's a lot of beautiful homes around me, and I just don't want to, well, some of these people, it's inherited wealth. I watched this thing on YouTube where this guy goes and knocks on people's doors. He's in Arizona or Colorado or something, and he has a camera, and the houses are very nice. He goes and knocks on the door, and he said, "Excuse me, I'm a college student. I go to ASU. I just had to ask you, like, what do you do for a living?" And like most of them give an answer, and then they just close the door. And I don't know if he follows up with, "Hey, I'm trying to become successful too. Is there any advice you could give me?" Or he just asks what they do. And a lot of them are everything from doctors to dentists to everything you can imagine. Investors, importers, you know, all walks of life, all things. Sometimes it's like hot women answer doors. Oh, I'm homemaker. Whatever. They won't, or some of them won't tell you. They won't tell you. Or they got their money through inheritance or whatever. You say there's a million ways to make $1 million. Cute. It's a cute thing. It's enough of that. Just it just seems that you know that chasm, that separation, that chasm of those people that can afford their own home and everybody. It's just it's just too great for me personally. It's too unfathomable for me. Believe me, there's some things that are unfathomable for you too, and it's not a practical goal. It's too far of a reach. It's just too far. I mean, if you're like, it's like trying to be in the Olympics or something. You have a certain, you have that age when you have to trained, and that's it. When it's over, it's over. And you know, that's how I look at it. I'm trying to be practical here. So I have my plan. I hope it works over the next couple of years. Hopefully, it won't make any catastrophic errors like I made. You know, 3 4 years ago. It really fucked me up. Believe me, you can have balls and it doesn't go your way. You can have all the good intentions you want. If your investments go south, you're fucked. Like there's a security guard up the block from me. There's this condo complex. The guy was out there for almost 40 years. They didn't renew him. He's done. Now he can't even walk. He's got like fourth stage cancer or something. The guy, I saw him. Sent him home from the VAs. But he told me, he said, he goes, Warrior Junior, what I did was I saved 10,000 a year for 10 years. That was like around 1990, so he could buy the condo. 10 years. It takes what it takes. I already told you the way I'm thinking. I don't have 500 years to save to afford a house or condo in decent area in Los Angeles. I'm sorry. Just it's not like you can make an unlimited amount of money. I mean, I believe me, if I knew how to, I would. There is no way. You know, I try to make and try to do the best I can with my knowledge and what I know. It's just, it's not an astronomical amount, but, I try to do the best I can. And hopefully I can get enough to be able to hopefully get a decent place in Las Vegas. That's what I'm thinking. It's just not practical here. That writer, that guy that died, that lived fairly close to me, he bought his house, I don't know, probably 1970, before I was born. 70,000, 40,000, 50, whatever. It sold 2.5, 2.2 or whatever. $1 million used to be wow. It's not anymore. That's like the average in the West Hollywood area for a house is $1 million. And more than that, these developers come in, they got a lot of money, they build these box-looking kind of townhomes, condos, or whatever. They got big leverage. It's like trying to play Monopoly with no money. You can't. You can't. Monopoly, you start off with money to be able to buy the properties. And you hope that your opponent lands on it and they have to pay the high rent. These developers can play Monopoly. They have tremendous bank leverage, and years and years and years and they're connected and stuff like that. I tried asking. There was this one guy, he built a complex not too far from me, and I think he was owner, a young guy, he was starting out. And the second I started to ask a couple questions, he goes, "Who are you?" He was very curious about my questions, what I was asking. I ask very hard questions, and unfortunately, you'd be surprised. A lot of people don't want to help you. They don't want to help. They're defensive by you're trying to learn something here. Like you're going to try to cut into their territory. Some people will tell you, like that old guy that I told you that guy, got an offer he couldn't refuse because the developer needed, they took the house that was on the corner and then his 9-unit apartment building. He's making the rich richer, Jesus. He bought it in the late 80s, though. He had money. He already had money to begin with. It's not that difficult when you can get the ball rolling. I told you, I can't even get a mortgage, $100,000 loan for 30 years. You can't even get that. All right? It's that hard. And that won't do you anything in LA. You have to go out to the fucking way, way out. And there's nothing there if you go Lancaster, way out to the outskirts of that. No. Well, I said like Vegas, the building infrastructure. Gets hot. Yeah, it does. But you know what? During the summer, you change your hours, or you're up at like night, and hopefully you're smart. I just don't like what I don't like about LA. People are here. They figured it out how to make it. They belong here, and they're not going to help you. So you want to be a watcher, a bum, watching the wealth people and it's not you and you don't know how to do it, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you because it's like I just don't want to be like, a goylem, out here. It's unfortunately any field you get into, it's going to be extremely competitive. It is. And if you're old trying to get started, you're kind of like you're too late to the dance, man. It's over already. You should have started when you were young, and there's a price to pay for it. That's called reality. Now, people don't want to ever talk about that. They don't want to crush your dreams and tell you the way that it is, but I'll tell you the way that it is. I will tell you the way that it is, okay? Because I'm not scared of hurting people's feelings. I'd rather hurt somebody's feelings and tell them the truth than be a liar, okay? I wish more people were honest like that, but they won't. They're not. They're scared of the repercussions of a fallback from you crushing their dreams. They don't want to that guy said I'll never be. Well, you know what? He's just being honest with you. I call it the enlightenment. That's why I never had kids. That's why I never got married. You got some nerve bringing kids into this world and not preparing them accordingly for what they're going to have to deal with out there. A lot of people have no business having kids. Here, I'll tell you one of the biggest rocket scientists that I know. This fucking asshole, this retard, okay? When I say rocket scientist, that's being a sarcastic. This fucking idiot. Okay. Get this story out for you. I grew up with this friend. His name was Jeff. He was a great guy. No problems with Jeff. Also my friend Pete, who I haven't heard from in a while. Also a great guy. Now, so stick with the story. Jeff has an older brother. His name is Shalom. Okay? I don't even think Shalom graduated high school. But he had an idea. Started an organic coffee business in like the early or mid 90s, early 90s. So he hired Pete, my friend Pete that I just mentioned, to work for him. So they got this small office space in Manhattan Beach in like a motel. It was like an inn or something. And it was an instant sensation. They were making so much money that the owner of the inn got jealous and threw him out. Now, Jeff and Shalom, their grandparents, where I would, they would invite me over all the time. I was part of this clique in there. They owned this location on Melrose. And that's where Shalom moved his business, his Earth Cafe business there. And he has many locations. He's rich as fuck, okay? So what's my problem with him? I have a couple problems with him. The number one problem, he let my friend Pete go. He never gave him a piece of the company. He basically started the company with him. Pete wasn't smart enough to get something in writing. He wasn't really a partner, which he should have had been a piece. He should have had something. Even 5% is an astronomical amount of money compared to what this guy is worth, okay? But he's a fucking greedy chazer, okay? But that's not why I brought up the story. It's not because of that. It goes worse. He had kids. And there's like a daycare center that I've seen. It's like somebody's house. It's like maybe a mile from me or something like that. I walked by it on my route. I saw him there one time. He's dropping his kids off there. This fucking idiot. If he's worth 50 million or whatever, he doesn't even have time to raise his own kids. Got all that fucking money, all those businesses, all that fucking coffee places all over the place. All that money. And he don't have time to raise his own fucking kids. That's a sickness, okay? Can't sell one of his fucking places so that he could watch his kids grow up. What a fucking idiot. Now I asked Jeff about this one time and he said, Mike, he doesn't know how to raise kids. Unbelievable. I know, I had to it's unbelievable. I'm not exaggerating. Dude's probably worth like 50 million, 15 million, 15, whatever. Fucking every time I walk by that place, always filled with people every time. Got a place in Beverly Hills, Santa Monica. I think there's an Earth Cafe in the Wynn in Vegas and stuff. And that asshole never once offered me anything, okay? I hate saying like the word greedy Jew because I'm Jewish, but I'm sorry, that's what he is. He's an epitomize, the stigma, the what do you call it? The stereotype. I'm sorry, the stereotype's the correct word. The fucking greedy Jew, Sorry. Another one too. Unbelievable. Anyway, agitating, but it's the way some of these people are. Boxed my friend out, my childhood friend. He could have gave him like $1 million fairly easily for his like 25 years of working with the company and stuff. He wanted to buy a house like in Calabasas or something. Could have helped him. Childhood. I remember we used to play Dungeons and Dragons together. Shalom was the dungeon master, was the storyteller and stuff. It's like he forgot about all that stuff. It didn't matter. Like the money came in and infected his thinking. It didn't affect mine. Well, because you don't have any, that's why. Okay. You can make that point and stuff like that, but you know what? I believe if somebody's been there, like they paid their dues, they know their whole life. You don't box them out, They were there since the beginning. You don't do that to people that you grew up with. But he did. I told you this. I believe that when you die, you're gonna have to report. You're gonna be brought in front of, like, and whoever's to say, well, what the fuck was wrong with you? You could have helped so many people. You could have done something. You could have. You knew it too. That's what bothers me. They know. They know they could have helped and stuff like that, and they chose not to. There's a price to pay for that. There is a price for. I know it's called karma. It's whatever. I don't necessarily believe in what to. Well, I don't know what to believe, but I told you what my plan is. That's why I do this. I do this that if I ever become successful, at least here it is. Here's me, open, honest, trying to help, trying to give back with whatever I think I know. And if people listen to it, that guy's crazy, that guy's, well, then that's fine. At least I tried. At least I tried. No, that fucker never tried. Okay? Most people won't try. I told you how many people I reached out to with my script. I told you how many people I tried to reach out with my resume or anything. Couldn't even get an agent. Can you imagine having a talent? Like for me, it was dancing. And I would go out all the time. And people would come up to me and say, wow, you're a good dancer. Can you imagine that? Night after night, week after week, month after month, and year after year. People giving you compliments like that. And I can't get a fucking agent. To get work, to make any money doing this. And I got to listen to all these compliments people are giving me every time I fucking go out. I know, it's frustrating. But that's the way it is. Because the business of entertainment does not want to see a 47-year-old balding Yiddish-speaking Jewish guy. Okay? That's just the way it is. Now, there might be some commercial work out here, I don't know, but again, without an agent pushing you, representing you, or giving you a chance, how are you supposed to get a chance? I know, I heard the Stallone story. I know the Stallone narrative. He went to some casting agencies. He stayed there for 8 hours. He was able to get in the office, and he didn't leave until he met with an agent. I know. But you see, that's all he did. I was like the one thing. That's all he banked everything on that, and he put all of his energy into that. I do other things. I'm not going in, and he was young too. Remember this. The people that are very tenacious, like they're young. They're not 50 years old just trying to get a start. Even Morgan Freeman was trying to start acting when he was young. It took him until he was relatively old to make it, but he didn't start when he was old, okay? I think he's alumni from where I went, LACC, Los Angeles City College, as far as I know. So is Mark Hamill. I think even Clint Eastwood went. I know for a fact Morgan Freeman did go. Of course, Los Angeles, a lot of people came here, Of course, you only hear about the people that made it. You don't hear about the this many that never did. And that's why you always see the same people, because they're bankable. Yep. I know it sounds like I'm complaining. I know it does, but it's not. It's just trying to share what I would consider reality, the real harsh reality that if you're young, and you're coming here, good luck. Good fucking luck. I'm not trying to kill your dream, but you are in for a serious rude awakening. Because I want you to ask yourself, what makes you fucking different than anybody else trying to be an actor? Okay? Or a dancer, or a singer, or anything. You really think you're that fucking good? There's a lot of fucking people that are good. And there's a lot of people that are great too, okay? Whatever you think good and great or whatever. Whatever you think you can do, it's not a big deal, okay? It's not. You see the exceptional talent on America's Got Talent. People are fucking good at their craft, whatever it is. And they're lucky to get on a novelty act show. That's how hard it is. That's how fucking hard it is. It's a fucking pipe dream. It really is. I'm sorry. It's a fucking pipe dream. If you get lucky and you hit something, congratulations. But I don't see it happening without nepotism or connections. It's not bankable. Why? How the fuck? Why? People have been grinding away for years trying to get a chance at something. Okay. Not to sound egotistical like I did, but I mean, come on. Every night when I would go out dancing, people coming up to me, giving me compliments and stuff like that. I said, thanks. But they're not an agent. Can't push you. And I've been on television. Not this, but I mean, really featured. Didn't go anywhere. A lot of people aren't going anywhere. They had short-lived careers or whatever. And there's nothing they can do for you. I know it sounds like I come off kind of mad or whatever, but it's passion. It's just passion. I'm very passionate when I'm on here, when I share my views, my experiences, what I think's going on, and the truth. I'm passionate about the truth. I don't, if younger people ever listen to this, I'm happy I'm not young anymore. Really. Really, I'm happy I'm not. I'll tell you why. Like I said, I came up in 1990 with the hip hop of that time. I listened to the music of today, and there's no flow. It's not like it doesn't have anything like to really hit, to dance. The hip hop, it just sounds like some goon yelling in a microphone. Anybody could yell in a microphone. It's not talent. It's nothing. No real flow of the beats that coincide with like the flow of. Look, you have to understand. Go back like to 1990. Listen to the hip hop and stuff. You could see how the dancing coincides with this. It was kind of hard, with that. But then you go back to the 80s and you could see how the popping and the stuff like that flows to the music. Even in the 70s, the disco and then the disco funk and then locking, which actually started in the late 60s. Even into 2000. You hear like stuff by Dre and Snoop and stuff where they're sea walking, they're skipping. You could hear the beats as they're it looks, you could understand the dancing to it. There's a flow to it. to the transition, to their feet transition, everything. But now I'm listening to this hip hop of today, and I'm like, what the fuck is this garbage? It's like real sloppy. Now it's not hip hop, but like Bruno Mars, there's exceptions, but he's not hip hop. He's like pop kind of, funk or whatever. He's good. He's an exception. But I'm sorry, most of the, and then what's that group, The Weeknd or whatever, like pop, whatever, it's good. Usher, like good, but that's even his stuff is like a little bit older. Justin Timberlake, it's good. But most of the stuff I'm listening is garbage. And the dancing is very kind of erratic and sloppy. It doesn't hit. It doesn't look tight. I don't feel the music. That's why I'm happy I'm not young, because the younger people that are coming up today, no. If anything, I wish I was older, because like the '70s stuff is like just fucking badass. The '80s too, even the '90s. There's some stuff even in 2000, whatever. Even today, there's some tight stuff. One guy, Dogmaster, he had some decent stuff, kind of underground artists for poppers and stuff like that. Yeah, see, try to keep an open mind, but there's a lot of garbage out there. Tons and tons and tons of garbage. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hang tough. Warrior Jr. believes in you. I believe in me. Hopefully, things will get better. I know it's tough. Feels like, feels like what? That's Empire Strikes Back. No, you know what it feels like? I think I said this before. It feels like God is punishing me. I used to say that, but it's not really that. It feels like society is punishing you when you try to do things differently. That's what it feels like. Don't go along. Take the punishment. Take the punishment. You have to. That's how the diamond is forged. Made a lot of noise in the gym. I was happy there was almost nobody in there. I love to push myself. Think different. Be different. No matter what. No matter what. It's easier said than done. You're going to be criticized, judged, laughed at, ridiculed. Stay true to yourself. And do not allow society to beat you to your knees and keep you there. Do not allow it. Be bold.